We're Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Share channel, no? You know what's so joining us. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. Let everybody know. Share it in every group. We be our woman. Let discuss football. Let them know that this Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. We'll turn your notification as well. In there, make sure you do choose all, because the big analysis for you. Chelsea, Manchester City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, lots of the things about also. Over the weekend, we are discussing everything here for you. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. I Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube and share. I'm sure bye. Hi, good morning. Big excitement over Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. The preview of the big game so in the FA Cup. Chelsea, big game this morning between themselves and Manchester City. Then there is also the one because watching now between Manchester United and the Coventry. Now, you do FA Cup semi-final, no? You about Champions League now. We're in the FA Cup semi-final, and it's a big conversation, especially on the part of team beats Manchester City. Oshe games so but in recent times, any competition last season, Man City were able to get to the finals of the FA Cup, win the Champions League, won also what's the name? The FA Cup, the Champions League, and the league. So they won a treble in Europe. But this season, and yeah, possible, they are not going to win a treble because Champions League, and they have a big one against Chelsea to play in FA Cup with the possibility of winning double. It's a big subject of conversation with everything that happened against Real Madrid. How Chelsea have played against Manchester City in recent times. How Arsenal have played against in recent times. I'll tell you the tactical tweak that I think Chelsea Fobe employ to beat Manchester City in this game. But of course, Man City are not going to come and sit down and say Chelsea for show. But there are a lot of reasons that suggest, that presupposes there is a likelihood that Chelsea beats Manchester City. And we'll delve into that conversation. But before that, what you need to know is that in the FA Cup semi-final, there are 4 teams now. First, Manchester United, Coventry, Man City, and Chelsea. All of these teams are winning FA Cup in the mind you. All of these teams have won the FA Cup before, so there is a lot of experience in terms of the clubs and pedigree in winning the FA Cup in the Coventry. Even the least teams the lower division of the English football also have experience in winning the the English FA Cup. So that is the conversation of Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, and the Coventry. Who goes on to win the FA Cup? And of course, we'll discuss other things for you. There's a Grand Classico that's going to go on also today. That's also going to go on this weekend, La Liga. And for me, I've said it's in a game against Paris Saint-Germain, Xavi accused almost referee Neobia, but then fails to accuse himself. I think he lost the game in the first opening 28 minutes now. And everything was clear. So Xavi was outplayed by Luis Enrique. And for me, I saw it in the first leg, that the fact that he was being very direct, and the fact that Luis Enrique ain't not only some of the starting 11, notably Ashraf Hakimi on the team, if he had them entire game, then he would have had enough balance in that team to try and win the game. And he showed it when he went away to Barcelona, the Montjuic, and he went ahead to win our game and then qualify Paris Saint-Germain. So we'll talk about the Grand Classico. So of course, because Real Madrid are in a semi-final of the Champions League, and what everybody other person sees in terms of the quality of Real Madrid, what they can do, the kind of football they play, and it's actually top notch. But then you would want to look at the game from a different perspective. In my opinion, Real Madrid are a good side, but they need to do a little bit more if they're going to go ahead and beat Barcelona and then go ahead and win the Champions League. I think that big game against Bayern is going to be a big decider. I think it's not going to be an easy one for Real Madrid. I will not call it now, because from now till then, about 12 days into it, a lot of things can happen. And key amongst them, maybe it's my player injuries, any sign, which definitely is going to possibly affect the outcome of games now. Because we'll wait to see how all of those things go. But let us start the conversation around Chelsea Football Club. Any baby as a club and what they can do against Manchester City. What can Chelsea do? What is up Chelsea's sleeve? So, first thing that we'll talk about is the fact that Chelsea, whilst Manchester City, I have issues in terms of fatigue and preparation towards this game, because ball last weekend, ball right on Saturday, then they stayed in England to make sure they play the game against Real Madrid over there on Wednesday. Then Madrid have had to rest just on Thursday and a Friday. Now, This is a game that's going to go on Saturday. There's some level of accumulated fatigue, in my opinion, on the part of Manchester City players now. And if you look at how far the game traveled, 120 minutes, obviously you could tell, say, they were definitely going to be tired at some certain point in time. Kevin De Bruyne was obviously very fatigued. Erling Haaland obviously very fatigued. Manchester City would want to do everything possible to go ahead and win. But you see, there is something that a lot of teams have been using, a different kind of press against teams like Manchester City. And you can call it the 4-4-2 diamond press or the hybrid press. And Arsenal starts here, it was brilliant in terms of getting the best out of Manchester City. And I think that's exactly what Pochettino will do. The blueprint at Chelsea or they have in terms of beating Man City is clear. They have done it before. They did it at the beginning of the season. They've done it again when they went away to the Etihad. And I think the clearest one was what went away when they went to the Stamford Bridge to play against Manchester City. Sitting in those blocks, pressing them when they have to, pressing them very aggressively, not being scared of turnovers, City area more on them, and then making sure say Manchester City have the ball in certain areas that they are comfortable having, and then building up their play from the left hand side, because those zones are all left hand side of Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva, Manuel Akanji or John Stones if he's not available in Fiifi-Manfred. I have the very good channel where Chelsea can play through, and they had very good successes when they played at the Etihad. So I expect Chelsea to go into a game where, my opinion, I don't think Enzo Fernandez should return for this one. He should be rested. The double pivot of Caicedo and Conor Gallagher was good enough in there. I want Thiago Silva back into the team. Yes, or like it's our pace, but sometimes you need the experience at the back. And I think Thiago Silva will be an important player to come in and play and give Chelsea a lot of the numbers and a lot of the growth on them, to marshal the defense, to put a lot of calmness in them. There's a mistake in Thiago Silva, especially in terms of the age and his. But again, you cut him some slack because he brings in a lot of experience and then he's able to organize the back for Chelsea. I'm expecting Thiago to be back again in Chelsea lineup. Njorgi Petrovic to be imposed this time for Chelsea Football Club. And then you have Malo Gusto at right back. Marco Correa has been very, very important for Chelsea in terms of build-up and Bono in big times. And he is defensively also very astute. In all the games against Manchester City, he has a good record and he does a very good job. So I'm expecting Marco Correa to be back into the lineup. Then if you want him, Conor Gallagher, and then of course Moises Caicedo. Then you have Kopama playing centrally. Noni Madueke to start. My biggest problem with Noni Madueke is the job without the ball. There is a need for him to improve the quality of his play without the ball. That is how you get to do well. That's the next level of football. In fact, in the context of the game, say hard working. If you are good just without the ball, you're not good without the ball. A lot of the coaches will not be comfortable having you in there. And he has to be good also without the ball. And in a game like this, that's the onus that Pochettino is going to place on him. Then Mihailo Modric on the other side, because Raheem Sterling at this anyway, or a little bit unwell in the last few days. And then, of course, Nicolas Jackson to run our channels now. Very important. You saw what Rodrigo Goes and Vinicius Junior when they had to run their channels, they had to play through those channels now. When they had to be very aggressive and then make sure so they go down those channels. It puts a lot of pressure on City backline when they have to defend with their back to go. I'm expecting that also from Chelsea with Abrantia friend Nicolas Jackson in the quality of their build-up, in the quality of the channel runs. Very, very important. And I want Chelsea to build in the hybrid press, which is more like a 4-4-2 main block press. So the wide areas, and Chelsea are not going to press so aggressively. It's just going to be a partial press and in the body orientation. Mind you, people like Cole Palmer have been very excellent in terms of their body orientation in the press. Then you have Nicolas Jackson leading the press. Then you have either of Conor Gallagher or Moises Caicedo push up to add to him up top. Then the two outside people will drop. Their part of their body will block the passing lane to central areas, like I'm showing on the screen. Then the other part of their body is also going to block the passing lane to the wide areas. Then that's usually forces City to go long. When they go long or they are not comfortable in the press, then you can turn the balls over a lot of the times. Now, one of the things I also saw in Manchester City game in the last game in there against Real Madrid, and they say Madrid were comfortable in sitting in the mid block at certain points in the game, and Chelsea have to do same as well. One of the things that Madrid Manchester City would hope saying KB best Sano. Most of them are largely personnel. In terms of what can City do in terms of dealing with Chelsea's press, they need a press resistant player. A lot of them. Matthews Nunes or bench on him, Matthew Kovacic or bench on him. But I do not think say they are comfortable enough in the City system to be able to have that press resistant ability in the middle of the park to try and play through Chelsea and break their press and then make things happen for them. And I one of the things I don't want to happen today is Chelsea 4 as a team should not get ahead of themselves. They should be more calm in this game and manage the game better. Omabo Wembley already this season, it didn't give them good tidings. But then again, they have the quality to turn things around. They should go into this game managing the game, understanding what's the needs of the game, playing the game and not necessarily the occasion because they can turn City around. I'm very confident with that hybrid press and then turning things over. And Chelsea being clinical in the last 2 games that Chelsea have against Manchester City. Yeah, it's been on aggregate 5-5. And what that means is that Chelsea at a certain point in time had a lot of chances to win the game, especially in the first half at Etihad. The first half again, or Stamford Bridge. Chelsea failed to win those games in the first half. They made a lot of mistakes. They didn't turn over all of those possessions. No. They didn't convert them into goals. And definitely that's where the club is where they are now. They need to find a way to convert all of those chances into goals and then make sure that they will convert those chances into goals and then score some quality goals. That's the bigger major problem. Apart from all the football, Chelsea have been good in terms of build-up in that left zone, especially say Enzo Fernandez air bar. Chelsea have been very, very good anytime they play against Manchester City when they want to build up from that zone. It has been brilliant. Now, the last thing actually is the shot conversion rate for Chelsea in the box, and that's what they call the golden zone. In the zone around the 16-yard box, any 18-yard box of Man City, sometimes defensive positioning from players with it's a little bit, they are found wanting, Kaka, and that's what Chelsea have to capitalize on those chances, gets the goal, and then put a final nail in the coffin. Else, if you don't, Manchester City, they have the quality, they can turn every game around. And definitely, they are going to do stuff like that if you don't hurt them early enough and then put them away. It's a very big one. There is also going to be Real Madrid, big one against Barcelona. Like I told you, I have a big problem. Barcelona going to play against Paris Saint-Germain in the second league. I think that whilst Xavi Hernandez a blame me coach, a blame me referee, in my opinion, Stefan Kovac, I don't think that they're losing the game was just because of a red card to Ronald Araujo. Luis Enrique had a clear plan, and I've done a post-match tactical analysis on how Paris Saint-Germain turned it around. I'll add a bio or the link to that game. So I won't share. You can go back and watch it. In the first game, Xavi wanted to be more direct, and it worked for them, dropping Lewandowski in the middle of the park to hold up play, dropping Abraham and Rafinha at certain points in time, and having Lamine Yamal keeping the width in there was brilliant. They had a field day in the opening numbers of the game. They got spaces in behind. Anytime Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Ebenya Boni behind, it was either he was going to play it into space or have Lewandowski as the outlet to hold up play and then get other players to get in behind him and then occupy those spaces. And it worked perfectly in the first thing. In the second leg, Luis Enrique had a different plan, and you watch the analysis on the screen, you could tell he didn't want ter Stegen to have the ball. They were comfortable in making sure that Barca will have Ronald Araujo on the ball. They were comfortable letting Ronald Araujo do the deep line creative job because they know that he wasn't up to it. And when he does so and he gets the ball, he could make mistakes. He make mistakes, they will pounce on it. And the fact that he also brought in attackers that had a lot of pace and then width to their game will help them. In the first leg, Bradley Barcola started. Conley actually also wasn't good in terms of hugging the touchline. This time, Bradley Barcola was excellent, hugging the touchline, stretching the Barcelona backline. And I think he got a good job at it. And one of the things I've said is that it's the channel's job of Tima Jefreno Barcelona. What Xavi can do in this game against Real Madrid, he has to be direct. Go back to the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. Be direct, drop in the middle of the park in Lewandowski, let him hold up play, then play forward. If you go and play in the second leg that you did, definitely you're going to have a lot of problems against Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo Goes. So any entertainment in our Grand Classico, and of course Chelsea big game because against Manchester City. Your friend Fiifi-Manfred, this is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching us. So subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. We are happy to have you here. Subscribe to the channel, and you are going back on Insha. We'll do a lot of the analysis over there. Join us. Let's have the conversation. After that, SAR content is going to be there for you to also enjoy. This is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much for joining. Until then, take care. Bye.